Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Snip, tuck, fold, crease, tuck, tape.
It's not that complicated, Dad.
Wrap, crease, tape, twist, tape.
Ohio Lottery scratch offs make great holiday gifts. And play Holiday Bonus Millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize.
Fold, crinkle, crinkle, roll.
Plus, you can enter non-winning tickets in My Lotto Rewards for a second chance to win up to 1,000 times the price of your ticket.
Please crinkle, gate, fold, ring, curl, scrunch.
The best part, Dad? No wrapping required.
No tuck, fold?
No tuck, fold.
Give the gift of fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. Wherever you look, the Reds are right on top. It is a tremendous time to be a Red and a tremendous night last night for two Reds in particular. First up, Big Kev, Caoimhín Kelleher, man of the match in Ireland's win over Finland. An exceptional performance, including a penalty save. Got himself a nice vase at the end, and you could see the joy in his eyes as he realised that he now had his mum's Christmas present sorted. No need to get her anything else. There you are, lovely bit of Waterford crystal and maybe Kilkenny crystal. Enjoy. Thank you, mother. Good luck. Mind yourself. He was really, really good, and this the sole reason that Ireland ended up winning the game. But then for England, Curtis Jones, on his debut, an absolutely outstanding performance, playing in deep in midfield, running the game, keeping things moving, and then late on, getting himself England's third goal, a lovely back-heeled flick of a finish off a cutback from Morgan Gibbs-White. Curtis looked like he'd been there doing the England thing for a long time. That's the highest compliment you can give him. He looked like a seasoned England pro. A guy with 50, 60 caps, not somebody making his debut. Very, very composed, very assured. All the things we know of Curtis Jones. All of the things we know that he does well. And as he approaches his 24th birthday, we are seeing him really kick on this season. This will be big for his confidence. This really will be big for his confidence. And look, he played an important role under Jurgen without question. And Jurgen and his staff deserve a lot of the credit for the work they did with Curtis Jones to turn him from the... selfish is not the right word, but, you know, a very kind of free-spirited attacking player when he came through the academy into an all-round midfielder that we saw him become under Klopp. But under Arne, you're already seeing him take significant strides. He's playing with a bit more freedom. He's talking with a bit more confidence. We've heard him be very complimentary about the new manager and how much he's enjoying playing under him. And he rightly got his England call-up and his England debut last night. And he took it with both hands. Like, it's going to be very hard for Thomas Tuchel if Curtis continues to play for us at the same level he has been, to not have Curtis as a regular member of the squad. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to overlook Curtis Jones. And it's a tremendous position for us to be in as a club, where we have, at the moment, 4, and hopefully soon 5, when we go and buy the 6 we need, to have 5 midfielders, all of a very good level, with the development of Gravenberch this season, with what we know Szoboszlai can be, not what he is at the moment, but what we know he's capable of being, with Curtis, with Alexis, and with that new signing. Let's just throw out the name Carlos Baliba as someone that would make a lot of sense for us. Having that 5-man unit for 3 positions would put us in a great position. Having the ability to basically pick any 3 of that 5, knowing it will work as a combination, could be a tremendous thing for us. It would allow us to rotate, to keep players rested and fresh. It would allow us to alter things depending on the opposition. We could be more attack-based. We could be more defensive-minded. We could be more control-orientated. And that would be something that we didn't have under Klopp. We never had that until we got the Naby Thiago midfield going with Fab. We didn't really have a ton of variety to our play in midfield. Unfortunately, the biggest part of that was injuries, obviously. Injuries to Ox, injuries to Naby, injuries with Thiago. But these players, Gravenberch doesn't have a big history of injuries. Obviously, he's had a couple of issues, and he had the ankle injury last year, but that's from a pretty horrible tackle. That's not just injury-prone player gets hurt. That's player gets absolutely sliced and is very lucky to not break his ankle. Szoboszlai got hurt last year. That was because he was overplayed. He doesn't have a history of injuries. McAllister doesn't have a big history of injuries. Baliba, if it was him, doesn't have a big history of injuries. Curtis does have a track record of injuries. But when you look at them, they're all more unfortunate things, like when he got poked in the eye, and that took an age to heal. Like, that's not anything he could really have avoided by the sounds of things. The stress fracture or whatever it was in his leg, again, I don't necessarily think that's something that you need to concern yourself with massively in the long run. I think that's something that you can manage by having the numbers. And if we have, say, those 5 and we're developing Trainiani to come through and make it a group of 6, that's a really strong situation. And then you've got, I don't know what his future is at the club in terms of position, in terms of the longer term. You've got Harvey, who obviously has played in midfield for Jurgen, not yet for Arne, not in a competitive game. Is he seen more as an attacking player, or we don't yet know? I struggle to see him playing too often in midfield under this manager. But if it was a Baliba Jones double pivot or a Baliba Gravenberch double pivot, I think you could play Harvey in front of them. So I think that can work. So that could be situational. But it really does point to, Liverpool fans being able to look at this team and feel very confident, not just with where we are, but where we're going and what we will develop into, because this is year one under this manager. And this is this manager sacrificing certain principles of his own tactical beliefs to bridge the gap between what he wants and what Jurgen did. So right now, if he's even halfway from Jurgen Klopp ball to what Arne eventually wants us to be, I'd be shocked. I would say I think there's been a significant change in a lot of what we do, but I don't think we're anywhere close to what he eventually wants us to be. Having watched a lot of Feyenoord and watched a lot of AZ Alkmaar, I think there's still a lot more to come from Arne Slot in terms of tactical innovation, in terms of our possession play, our build-up play. I think what he's doing at the moment is he's sacrificing certain things that he would want because of the strengths of certain players in our team who require a bit more individual license, let's say. So this is all very positive. It really is. Now, there's obviously some negativity around the club at the moment. It centers around those three contracts. And we've talked about them endlessly. There's a lot of talk about what we do if they leave, and a lot of people are sort of doom-mongering about Trent. And look, I've probably been a little bit guilty of that myself. But ultimately, it's a big story, so it's something I do need to talk about. I think if I didn't mention it at all, people would probably be getting a bit pissed that I was sort of ignoring it. So I'm trying to be as positive as possible about the Trent contract, about the Mo contract, about the Virgil contract. But obviously there are reasons for concern there. Like there absolutely are. Anytime there's the possibility that you're going to lose a great player, one of the best players in your team and the best player in the world in his position, be that Virgil, Trent or Mo, like that is cause for concern. It absolutely is. What I will say with regards to Trent is that he looks like the one that's most close. I might consult a dictionary later. Most close to going. And a lot of people now are starting to have discussions about, well, what do we do if he goes? So today on Blue Sky, and if you're not, by the way, if you're not on Blue Sky, do go and set yourself up there. It's a really nice atmosphere there right now. There's real positive vibes. I think everybody getting themselves away from Elon Musk's hate machine, lie machine, all of that horrific racism and misogyny and all of this garbage that has just appeared there, along obviously with the endless amounts of bots, the endless porn bots, the issues that there are with that platform. I think a lot of that has really dragged down people's mood. Get yourself over to Blue Sky. Most of the Anfield Index crew have already gone across. Now, we're still obviously going to use both for the time being, but there's a really positive atmosphere on Blue Sky. It's a real throwback feel to old Twitter, like 2010 to 2014 era Twitter. And there's going to be some glitches. There's going to be some outages. That's going to happen because it's a new platform growing exponentially. A million new users between yesterday and today. So they seem well set up, but they're being honest. There will be some issues, but stick with it. I think it's going to be well worthwhile. David Ornstein has joined today, which is a big deal for football Twitter to get the biggest football journalist across. Romano's not a journalist, so don't try and correct me. He's a social media influencer. He's very clearly a shyster, a charlatan, and a spoofer. David Ornstein's the biggest journalist in football. And the other fella's top tweet is to follow him on the hell site. So, most likely bought and paid for by Elon. Anyway, this discussion today on Blue Sky was, do you buy a right back or do you just go to Conor Bradley? And Sam Maguire made the point that Bradley has a contract till 2027. And, if we were to buy a right back, does that mean we're kind of, accepting that Bradley would leave? And maybe that's the case, but Conor Bradley's likely not on significant money. So I think there's definitely an easy path to a contract extension by offering him, a significant pay rise and boosting that contract maybe till 2029, and maybe then having him as the backup for the next couple of years, continuing to develop him and then moving him on at a good price. We have Calvin Ramsey, another really good right back at the club. One who was bought because the coaching staff didn't think Bradley was going to make the grade. Ramsey has obviously had a raft of injuries since we signed him and been very unfortunate. But he's a super talented footballer. Stylistically more similar to Trent than Bradley, who's more of a Robertson type. Where I stand on Bradley is where I stood on Nico Williams a few years back and where I stand on Caoimhín Kelleher right now. I think he is a good footballer, absolutely a Premier League footballer, could absolutely start for a number of Premier League clubs. Doesn't start for a top 14. Just doesn't start for a top 14. Not now. And not in the next year or two. I would say the same about Caoimhín Kelleher. I think Caoimhín has obviously kicked on over the last 16, 17 months because he's gotten more football with Alisson having a couple of injuries.
Hey, Prime members, are you tired of ads interfering with your favorite podcasts? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcasts. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Hey, Prime members, are you tired of ads interfering with your favorite podcasts? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcasts. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
But when you start to tier the goalkeepers in the Premier League, like, he's not near the level of Alisson. I don't think he's as good as Ederson. I don't think he's as good as David Raya. Now, he's younger than both of them. But nobody's going to have Ederson's passing, which is what makes him, a unique player. He's younger than Raya. And potentially that's the kind of marker for him, is David Raya. But I wouldn't want David Raya at Liverpool. And I think the club have looked at it with Mamardashvili and thought, we know Caoimhín is good. And we know he's absolutely a Premier League caliber goalkeeper. Potentially, a top 8, top 6 goalkeeper even. But not a top 2 or top 3 goalkeeper. And that's where I stand with Conor Bradley. I don't think he's a top 2 or 3 right back in the Premier League. In terms of, if you want to win a title, I don't think Conor Bradley's your right back. Now, maybe in a few years he gets there. But right now, the drop from Trent to him is astronomical. I know he came in last season and did very, very well, and nobody is denying that or taking it away from him. But people also need to realize that it's one thing doing it for a short stretch of games. It's another thing doing it week in, week out in the Premier League and Champions League, the way Trent has done it. It's a very different thing. We began this season, let me remind everybody, with people calling for Jarrell Quansah to be ahead of Ibu Konate. Not just fans, but pundits and media alike, calling Jarrell Quansah the partner of Virgil van Dijk. And it became very clear very quickly that as good as Quansah is and as promising as he is, the gulf from him to Ibu is massive. If Ibu was to leave tomorrow and Jarrell Quansah was to elevate into that first choice position, as good as he might be, we would take a significant step back. In the same way, if Trent goes and Connor Bradley steps in, we are taking a significant step back. In the same way, if Mo goes and Harvey Elliott takes his role, we're taking a significant step back. We need to target somebody a lot closer to Trent's level. A lot closer to Trent's level. The right back market is not flush with great talent. It just isn't. But there are absolutely some top tier options out there for us. Absolutely there are. And that's what we should do. If Trent goes, we have to go. Trent is the very top. Trent isn't even on a shelf. Trent is the one that you go up to the guy behind the counter and you do a secret little knock on the countertop and you say, do you have anything different in the back? And Trent is the one they bring out from the back that's only for people in the know. He's that kind of special level. But there are some very, very high level right backs that will be expensive, but that I think will be available this summer. I'm not going to spoil them because I want you to listen to the next episode of Scouted. But one of them plays in the Premier League and I think might be available this summer because I don't think he's going to want to stick another year without Champions League. One of them, I would say, is a top 2 or 3 right back in world football. He's at a contract in 2026. Another is a more defensive option who plays for a club that might need a big sale because of their financial situation to fund incomings. And his name has come up in the past as one they might be open to selling rather than having to sell off one of the academy graduates they have there that they're very keen on keeping and building around. Those 3, and I think there's a couple of others that aren't quite their level but have that kind of potential. There are good options out there. Another has a buyout clause, is absolutely much more of a winger, wingback than fullback. But I think you could get away with it if you had an elite defensive left back. A Hincapié type. I think you could get away with this fella on the right. But listen to the next episode of Scouted and I think you'll let me know what you think of the list we come up with. Because you see, what got me thinking about this is there's a piece on AnfieldIndex.com. Do Liverpool already know their Trent Alexander-Arnold replacement? And this piece is promoting Connor Bradley, the case for Connor Bradley. But I take issue with it. I take significant issue with it because it's manipulative stats. Statistically, Connor Bradley already outperforms Trent Alexander-Arnold in several defensive metrics. Bradley averages 4.6 tackles and interceptions per 90, significantly higher than Alexander-Arnold's 3.1. Why do you think that might be? Might it be due to the fact that he's played very little, so per 90 does all of the heavy lifting? Moreover, Bradley's defensive work is notably proactive, with 20.6% of his tackles occurring in the attacking third compared to Trent's 12.4%. Do you think the total numbers might skew heavily in Trent's favor? And he probably has more in the attacking third? But because Bradley has far less, it's far easier to get a higher percentage. For example, if you throw 100 tennis balls at a wall, and then I say to you, with this next crop of tennis balls, I want you to hit that specific brick. And you throw another 10. So you've now thrown 110 tennis balls, and maybe 3 hit the specific brick that I asked for. And then the other person, I tell them, you have just 10, but I want you to hit that same brick. And you hit the brick once. Well, who's got the higher percentage? It's the guy that's done it 1 out of 10, not the guy that's done it 3 out of 110. Even though the guy that's done it 3 out of 110 has done it more, the other guy's got the percentage advantage. Bradley also boasts a superior aerial presence, winning 68.4% of his aerial duels compared to Trent's 38.3%. Now, Trent is not great in the air. We've all known that for a long time. Again, do you think it might be significantly skewed by the fact that Trent contests a lot more aerial duels? These numbers suggest that Bradley could provide Liverpool with a more robust defensive option. No, they don't. No, they don't. You have skewed them to make that argument. So I'm sorry, but you're being dishonest. You're starting from a dishonest premise with your argument. Measuring up the attack. The question, however, is whether Bradley can match Trent's attacking output. While there is a gap, it may not be as wide as many assume. Trent's expected assists per 90 stands at 0.27, double Bradley's 0.13. However, in terms of overall goal contributions, the gap narrows. Alexander-Arnold averages 0.35 goals and assists per 90, while Bradley averages a respectable 0.26. Again, per 90, doing all the heavy lifting here. Per 90 is the biggest load of shit that anyone has come up with in the stats field. A few years ago, James Milner was playing roughly about 15 minutes a game for us. And people were trying to make the case that James Milner covered the most ground in the Premier League because on a per 90 basis, he did. In reality, James Milner could come on for 10 to 15 minutes, run his arse off, and then some person, to be polite, is going to take that number and extrapolate it from 15 minutes across to 90 minutes. But James Milner was not going to be capable of maintaining that level of work and distance across 90 minutes. Hence why he was playing 10 to 15. It didn't stop people, to be nice, on Twitter trying to make the case that this was proof that James Milner was the fittest player in the Premier League. Complete and utter nonsense. Bradley also demonstrates greater efficiency in possession with an 80.9 pass completion rate compared to Trent's 73.6. However, this statistic must be contextualized. Just this one, not the other ones, just this one. Trent attempts far more. So you're almost there. You've almost figured this out. Where Bradley falls short is in attacking dribbles. He averages 3.1 take-ons per 90. Can we stop this? Can we stop this, please? I like Conor Bradley. I do. I think he's a good player. I think he's got the potential to be a very good player. He is not anywhere close to being ready to succeed Trent Alexander. He just isn't. He's just not. And you're doing him a massive disservice by pretending he is. It's as simple as that. Yes, it's great that he's doing so well with Northern Ireland and, that he's playing regularly for them. Northern Ireland are not very good. Northern Ireland are not very good. Here's who else is in the Northern Ireland squad. Bailey Peacock Farrell, Pierce Charles, and Luke Southwood are the goalkeepers. A championship backup and 2 League One goalkeepers. The defenders are Jamal Lewis, who didn't make the grade at Newcastle, Daniel Ballard, Kieran Brown, Trey Hume, Brody Spencer, Kofi Burmer, and Rory McConville, who plays for the Brighton Academy side. The rest of these, Scottish Premiership, League One, and 3 from the Championship. In midfield, you've got George Saville, Jordan Thompson, Ali McCann, Shay Charles, Isaac Price, Paul Smith, Ross McCausland, Ethan Galbraith, Caelan Boyd-Muntz, Brad Lyons, and Josh Devaney. Josh Devaney is a solid young midfield player who's gotten a little bit of run with Crystal Palace this year. Other than that, you've got 3 from the Scottish Premiership. You've got 1 currently on loan. Oh, not even on loan. Permanently at Leyton Orient in League One, having not made the grade at Manchester United. That's Ethan Galbraith. Bottom of the Championship. Standard Liège, mid-table in Belgium, I believe, the last time I looked. And then 4 from the Championship. And the forward players, Josh McGuinness, Dion Charles, Callum Marshall, Jamie Reid, and Lee Bonus. Lee Bonus plays for ADO Den Haag, mid-level Dutch team playing in the 2nd division. Jamie Reid plays for Stevenage in League One. Callum Marshall is at West Ham United. He has played 1 game for West Ham United in the FA Cup last year, I believe as a sub. And this season he's playing for Huddersfield in League One. Dion Charles is at Bolton in League One, and Josh McGuinness is at Exeter in League One. This is not a squad of Premier League players. There's not a single first-choice Premier League player in the squad. Connor Bradley may well be their best player. But it's against a squad of players that, honestly, would be mid-table in the Championship. So his international chops, while great for him, and huge congratulations to him on what he's achieving as the I don't know whether he's the permanent captain or he's the temporary captain, but as captain, that's a great achievement. Let's not pretend that Northern Ireland aren't the weakest of the home nations. Like, they just are. Like, we went through this with Nico Williams. Nico's only 2 years older, I think, than Connor Bradley. He's got 25 more caps for his country. And he plays for a better national team. He does. He plays for a better national team than Connor Bradley does. And when Nico came through, he initially looked every bit the part until he didn't anymore. And then he was sold. Is Connor Bradley significantly better than Nico Williams? I don't think so. I don't think he is. He certainly wasn't better at 17, 18 than Nico. He wasn't better at 18, 19. Now, the season he went on loan was I think he was 19, 20 that year. To Bolton, he was excellent. But Nico went on loan to the Championship to Fulham and was really, really good. Nico's playing week in, week out in the Premier League, though not as much this season. He seems to have lost his place this season. But Nico played 31 and 26 games in the Premier League over the previous 2 seasons. I don't know that Connor Bradley's a lot better than Nico Williams. He might be a bit better. He might have a higher upside. He might not. So none of us, if Trent left tomorrow and the club announced they were signing Nico Williams back, people would lose their shit. They just would. And again, the gap between Conor Bradley and Nico Williams, if there is one, and if it is slanting in Conor Bradley's favour, is not big. It's either a slight advantage to Bradley, a slight advantage to Williams, or they're about the same level. So let us all calm down on Conor Bradley. Let's not put undue pressure on the lad. Let's let him develop at the right pace. Let's let him have time to become the player he's going to become without anointing him as anything. The way people anointed Jarell Quansah and then had meltdowns when he didn't live up to the hype that they themselves had created. Let's not have that happen with Conor Bradley. Let's keep expectations low. Let's enjoy the performances. And let's watch and see how he develops. But let's not say, oh, it's fine if Trent leaves. We've got Bradley. Just little wonder we struggle for so many years. If Trent leaves, you go and you get someone from the top shelf. There's no one else in the back room. There was only him back there. There's a space in the corner, I think, where Reece James was meant to go, but apparently he got broken during delivery, so he had to be sent back to the factory and nobody heard from him again. But there was only Trent in that back room. Everything else is on display. All the stuff they've got's on display. Go and get one of them, lads. What else do we have on AnfieldIndex.com? We have a piece about Trent. Another piece about Trent. We have a piece about the January transfer window. There is a piece on Joe Gomez and whether or not he can win over Arne Slot. I think he's already doing that. I think he's already doing that. And there's a piece on Ryan Cherky. And for me, it's a hard pass on Ryan Cherky. A very talented individual, but living on the memory of potential he showed at 16. He has played, in his career, he has played 152 senior games, scored 20 goals, so not a goal scorer. His highest goal scoring season, the 22-23 season, he scored 5 in 39 games. Okay, 5 in 39 games. This season, he has 3 in 11, so he's on target to beat that. This is only the second season in his career where he scored more than 1 league goal in a season. At the league level, it's 123 appearances and 8 goals, which doesn't seem great. 9 of his career goals have come in the Coupe de France, which I would imagine means he's probably scored against some lower league teams there. So, you know, he's not a goal scorer. If we look back on his career, he broke into the team in the 1920 season. Now, he only played 13 games. He scored 3 goals and had 2 assists, and they came in the cup. Can we see who they came against? He scored against a lower league team, and he did score 2 and get 2 assists in 1 match against Nantes. So that's where he managed to get his goal contributions that year. Then 2021. No, he was very young, obviously, in that season, but so that was impressive. But that's what people still rate him on, is when he was so young. The next season, regular in the first team squad, 4 goals and 4 assists. Obviously not a regular starter. 1 goal and 3 assists in the league. And then in the cup, 3 goals and 1 assist against lower league teams. Then in 21-22, seems to have taken a step back, only played 20 games in this season. He did have a metatarsal fracture. 2 goals, 4 assists. So 2 and 3 In the Europa League, Brøndby, Sparta Prague, Brøndby, and Rangers. So both goals against Brøndby, assists against Brøndby, Sparta, and Rangers. You would class them as lower league opposition, really. They're not. None of them are from prime leagues. In the league, 1 assist against Metz. Again, not playing huge minutes, but not earning huge minutes is the bigger factor there. 22-23, this is his best season, 5 goals and 6 assists. 4 and 6 in the league, which is promising. You would have hoped then he would kick on after this, and he did score against Lille in the cup. That was his other goal. So that's a promising season. You're looking for him then to kick on from there. 5 goals, 6 assists. That's his best season so far. Last season, 3 goals, 9 assists, but only 1 and 6 in the league. 2 and 3 in the cup. 1 and 2 against top flight teams. 1 and 1 against lower league teams. So didn't really kick on last season. Obviously, then this season, he's got himself 2 goals and 3 goals and 3 assists. 3 goals and 3 assists. 2 of those assists coming against Rangers in the Europa League. So, he's not a big time creator. He's not a goal scorer. He hasn't kicked on. I don't know why we would do that. In the summer, he was linked with Fulham. That was the club that was primarily linked to him, was Fulham. And with the greatest respect to Fulham, we don't shop at the same store as Fulham. The one they go to doesn't even have the back room with the special edition versions. It doesn't even have staff. You just walk in and take whatever's there. Simple as that. It's more of a, you bring one and leave one and you can take a different one. You know those book exchanges? That's kind of where Fulham shop. Podcast-wise, AnfieldIndex.com is bringing you high-quality stuff. The Transfer Show, Trev Downey and Dave Davis. You know it's going to be good when Brother Downey's involved. Actually, the Davis fella's not bad either. So give that a listen. There is Media Matters with Dave Davis and Paul Joyce. Now, I don't know that Paul Joyce knew he was on a podcast because I don't know, I just assume Paul Joyce is just sitting there, thinks he's just having a conversation and no one else is going to find out what he's saying. But Paul Joyce is there with Dave. So make sure you listen to that. It is very good. It's very, very good. And there is a new Minefield, which is, as I always say, it's the best podcast out there. Alan and Andrew, even for a fella from Drogheda, he's, you'd knock some points off, but Alan is brilliant, and Andrew's so intelligent, such a good speaker. These lads are brilliant to listen to, absolutely brilliant to listen to. So do give Minefield a listen when you get a chance. And that's going to be me for the week. So I will see you all on Monday. Davis will be here over the weekend. Not sure what he's got planned with no game, but have at it, young sir. And I'll speak to you all Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.